this is Roger, thanks for dropping by. And some people are going to go, oh no, not again. But I'm very aware that with the names against the comments, there are an awful lot of people commenting on my videos now that just have to be classed as relatively new to the channel. Well, I can't expect everybody to go and watch all the old videos, can I? Bad enough watching my May updates. That was 4 hours worth of somebody's time, you know. But what I did want to say is that, oh, how can that be too heavy to lift? This is for my mounts, basically. Now, they got watered very properly on Sunday with a good feed, but yesterday they only got a spray, and it was a warm day, so they are dry today, very dry in fact. So I just thought I'd go over the thoughts and stuff. I only have two types of stuff that goes in my water. That's RO water, so I mean that's got a TDS of 10ish, maybe as high as 15, and a pH of around 7 or maybe a fraction below. So that's my sort of start point, very sort of neutralish. I use the MSU formula. What this video really is about, I'm hoping that can focus well enough on the ingredients, because that's what I want to talk about. Now that is a balanced feed designed and tested on and for orchids. So, you know, it's not like a garden fertilizer or anything like that. It was designed specifically for orchids and tested and trials and stuff like that. And they came up with this, and it's pretty good. It's a nice balance of all the elements you need. And as you can see, I hope, it's got calcium in it, which is the subject for today. I'm not going into all the other stuff. You know, it's just the calcium bit that I want to talk about. And there's a goodly amount in there, and under normal circumstances I'd be happy to leave it at that. That's a good fertilizer with everything I need for my orchids in it. But there is a but. There's always a but, isn't there? I use that as well. I don't use it with the MSU fertilizer. If I'm going to use this stuff, I use it as a separate feed. There are reasons for that I don't need to go into. But this has got calcium and magnesium in it, and it contains added iron. Now, iron and calcium have a methodology that works together under normal circumstances. Now, this stuff is chelated or chelated, or however you want to say it, but that's quite important because some types of calcium are not readily available for plants, so they have to be worked on. But the way to make them readily available is something to do with bonding with metal elements like iron. So the calcium and the iron in this stuff work together so that calcium is straight in there and up and running. That's good stuff. And iron is pretty damn important as well, quite honestly. Yes, and magnesium, but this is a calcium subject. And this stuff bonds it with iron, makes it absolutely readily available. But, as I said, there's always a but. And the but with this stuff is, I'll show you quickly. Oh. Still having trouble even bending this little bit. All liquid fertilizers, damn good shake before you start. There could be some settlement in the bottom where it hasn't been used for a bit, so give it a good shake, make sure it's thoroughly mixed. And I've forgotten a little element. Very important, my little dropper. Now, these containers that I've got my RO water in are obviously the same amount each time, so if I pour one of them in, even though I don't need to know exactly how much that is, I can take a pretty good guess of how much of this I need to get the TDS I want. And it will be one full one, which is squeeze the top, suck up whatever it gets, that goes straight in. Right, we'll give that a mix. What I'm aiming at is around a TDS of 80. If it's 90, I don't care. If it's 70, I might put a tiny little drop more in. But I'm aiming for around 80. Why do I aim for 80? Because I was told to by somebody who probably knows an awful lot more about this stuff than I do, Rick. Yeah, 80 is a nice recommended level for that, and I've read that in other places too. It's not just from one person. So what have we got then? Right, so that's around 60. That's a little lower than I want. So given how much I put in, I need a little bit more now, but not a lot. Don't want to go mad. I don't want this going up too high. So we'll try that little bit. Let's see what that does. That'll probably go over now. It doesn't have to be exact. It really doesn't have to be exact. As I said, this is for my mounts. I'll go over the reasoning why I want to do this. That is now still only just over 70, so I'm going to put a little bit more in, you know, and then eventually I'll have too much and I'll have to take some out. That's really easy. Well, actually it is. Just add some more water. Think about it. Just dilute your solution if you want to take a level down. It's not the end of the world. Right, now come on. Somewhere between 80 and 90 would be good this time. I'm getting fed up with faffing around with this already. Normally I get this right, you know, sort of first or second go. 81. That'll do. Right, so that's that bit done. Now we get on to the important bit. Calcium is alkaline. Now to get my pH meter to work quickly, the fastest way to do it, I find, is put a little bit of my, once it's mixed up, not the RO water, pH meters just don't measure RO water very well. So once I've got my feed in, whatever it is, and got it the way how I want it, I put a little bit in there and stand the pH meter in it for around 30 seconds. But as it happens, I want a coffee. So while that's standing in there, I'll go and get a coffee. I'll be back. Right, that's better. I'll put all the stuff I finished with away out of the way, and let's get back to this beastie. I suspect this will have quite a high reading, simply because it's calcium, which is an alkaline substance. Iron is an acidic substance, but there isn't much of that in there. What magnesium does to a pH, I haven't got a flipping clue. Do I need to know? Answer no. Right, let's have a look then, see what we got. I'm really pleased with this pH meter. It seems to give pretty good readings pretty fast. There's others I've had, you have to faff around with them so much. And what I'm trying to do with everything to do with my orchids is take away the faff of the routines, so that all that's left is the routines. I don't have to think about it. Right, that's actually coming out at, it says, that's lower than I thought it was going to be, but I'll live with the reading. That says 6.65. I don't need that last decimal place. So 6.6-ish. Right, now back to the calcium. Yeah? It is said, I can't prove it one way or the other, that calcium is absorbed at lower pHs better than it is at higher pHs. So why try and get calcium into your plants at a high pH when you can fiddle with it? And my fiddling methodology is to add some citric acid. Now I bought a sachet of this stuff, which was granules, and I put like a teaspoon in that amount of water and give it a good shake and like one drip in my RO water dropped it down into the 4s. So it was far too strong, so I actually chucked it. It was just far too strong. And now what I've got in there is RO water with about 4 granules. So it's an incredibly weak solution of a substance that's flipping strong in its, you know, sort of in the state that you buy it in. Now this is about 6.6.5 at the moment, 6.65. I want to get it down to nearer 6. Doesn't have to be exact, yet again. Don't do exact, I do near enough. So I've added a bit of citric acid, and I'll give it a sploot round, get a good mix as they say, and then we'll have another look and see how much that has changed it. And that's taken it down to 655. So that didn't take it down very much, did it? Just 1 point. So we need more than that, but I don't want to put too much in. I'd rather, because I don't do this very often, I'd rather do it a bit at a time than overcook it. And as I said, I don't do this very often, so this is a little faff. This is not normal, but I do want to do a cow mag feed at the moment. We're rocketing downwards now. That's around 6.2. 6.1, somewhere between 6.1 and 6.2. That's hovering now. It's about 6.1. That's good enough. Don't need to go any lower than that. If that was a different type of calcium, it might benefit to actually get down to sort of 5.7, 5.8. Make sure the flipping stuff gets in there, but because it's chelated, it's going to go in over a wider range. So that is now it. And with this little thing, according to the instructions, I'm now going to turn it off, rinse it in some clean water, put the cap back on and store it. No solutions, no buffers, no messing around. That's what the instructions say to do. That's why I got that one. It defaffs the pH stuff. Right, back to why. And this really comes down to bugs. I've got some. And with my daughter's help over the weekend, going over all the pots, we probably found about a dozen or so that needed some treatment. Now, what treatment I use is not part of this video. But nonetheless, there were some plants with some bugs. And this again goes back to specifics. Rick doesn't seem to get bugs on his plants. Now, you can't compare growing in this environment with how that environment works. That's called outside, this is called inside. Subtly different. And in the outside, you get rain. And rain washes all over the plants, down through the pots. It's a flushing mechanism, yeah? It works brilliantly, keeps the leaves clean, but it also washes away some of the things, the undesirables, things like pathogens and stuff like that. A continuous rain on a plant is flushing the plant and the pot. So stuff is getting washed off that may have hung around otherwise. Okay, so that's good. In here, I can't really do that. I mean, okay, I could spray my plants. That's not a rainstorm. It's going to do virtually nothing compared with what continuous rain can do over a period of time. So it's hardly worth doing, quite honestly. In fact, it might even do more harm because it will give a breeding ground for such things as pathogens by leaving some water lying around, something for them to get a hold in. So, you know, that's why I try and keep my plants dry. But Rick is quite adamant that the strong, healthy plants do not get the bugs. And after this weekend session, I'm backing that up 100%. Picking on the plants that had bugs that needed dealing with were the weak ones. The strong butcher's dog jobbies didn't have bugs. Now that makes sense to me. And also again from Rick, he maintains adamantly that it's the extra calcium in the plant that makes it fit as a butcher's dog. Nice, strong, strapping leaves, fully hydrated. Well, there's hydration as well in there, but it's the calcium that's giving it the strength, and it's the strength that's warding off the bugs. Now, I can't prove that, but it does no harm. So why not do it? You know, it's just one of those things. I can do it, I've got the stuff, so why not do it? And then maybe eventually down the line I can say emphatically that it works. I can't now, but maybe down the line. But at the moment, all I can say is that the plants that had more bugs on, or some bugs in some cases, were the weak ones. They tended to be the rescue plants, not the big strappy actively growing stuff. Anyway, The mounts are going to get the CalMag feed today. My feeding and watering program has been shot to pieces over the last 9 or 10 days because I haven't been able to do it. So the best they've been able to get is just a bit of hydration from a sprayer, which is not the job. It just isn't. So anyway, they had a proper feed yesterday. That feed was at the high pH. That was at about 6.4, 6.5. Yeah, I mean, some people go higher than that. That's my upper end. That's what I like. You know, recommended between 5.5 and 6.5. And where the hell that recommendation comes from, I do not know. It might even be wrong. It's just everybody uses it. So that was a feed at about 6.5. This is going in as a CalMag feed at a lower pH. Yeah, which in theory now gets a good stonk of calcium in there along with the iron and magnesium. So what do you think my next feed will be? You think, oh, you need to go back up to the high pH again. No, I don't. This has only got the calcium, magnesium and the iron in it. Yeah, there's about 13 or 14 elements in my fertiliser. Some of them are absorbed more readily at the higher pH end and some of them at the lower pH end. Well, to do another high level feed following the CalMag feed to me would be silly. So my next feed will be a low pH with the MSU fertiliser, which will put some more calcium in there. Yeah? Then the next one after that can go back up near the 6.4, 6.5, which puts in some of the stuff that prefers the higher pH. So this idea of changing the pH as you go along, it's not a strict routine for me. But what I'd like to do is a higher end pH feed, yeah, followed by a CalMag feed, followed by a lower pH feed, followed by a higher pH feed, followed by a flush. Now that's a sequence of 5. And if I was keeping up to speed with watering my mounts, that's 5 days. Now, it depends on the weather. The weather we've been having lately, I should have been watering every day, and I haven't been able to. But now I'm back up, at least up and running for my mounts, because I can stand up and get to them and water them and put them back without bending over, which is the hard bit. So that's now my 5 sequence. That brings the CalMag round twice as often as it used to. So it is a change in my practices. And I won't say I'm on absolutely solid ground, but I'm on pretty firm ground that that's going to be an improvement. But time will tell. It might even be difficult to tell, and I might see no flipping difference at all. But I'm going to give it a go. Now, to do that with my pots, some of them don't come round for watering for 5 or 6 days. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times 5. That's a 25-day cycle. Yeah? Well, how many lots of 25 days from the end of May to the end of the growing season are there? Not that many. So as far as my pots are concerned, it's not so easy to do. And I haven't made my mind up whether I'm going to stick to that with the pots yet. But certainly for the mounts, that's now the routine. And I'll see how I go. Now, I know most people are fed up with talking about blinking nutrients and stuff like that. But I've watched a process where stuff's getting rained on. It's absolutely soaking wet. The plant's soaking wet, the pot's soaking wet, the water's running through and coming out of the pot. And nutrients are being applied with a sprayer during that period. Now you might sort of think, well, what's the flipping point of that? The rain's going to wash it all off. Stand back, take a deep breath. What the hell do you think happens in the wild? Do you think they all get rained on and soaking wet and then somebody comes along with the fertiliser an hour later? The nutrients are being applied to the plants, both foliar and through the roots, at a very, very low level as and when it rains. That to me is just a simple sort of thing that doesn't really need a huge amount of explanation. It's just highly likely what's happening, you know. nutrients are being dissolved higher up the tree or whatever, you know, and getting washed down in probably quite low levels in the main, and those nutrients are going all over the plant. Leaves, stalks, stems, canes, root base, and the plant's taking them in as it needs them. So that's really what I'm trying to replicate, but without the pouring the water all over the plant and right through the pot and out the bottom, because I'm not outside. Yeah, so that's my idea, and that's what I'm going to run with for a bit and see how we get on. So it's a minor change. It's just basically doubling up the frequency of the CalMag standalone feed. And we'll see what it does. Updates will follow. See you next time.